Good morning, good evening. Checking news, checking news. Tuesday, May 22nd. People are late today, but I'm getting started. Tuesday, May 22nd. Very slow news day. High impact news for the pound is the only high impact for the day. U.S. session really doesn't have much going on here. Light impact, 10 a.m. Eastern. Manufacturing index listed as light impact. It's really all about the pound news. Nothing else is really relevant here. The pound news is in 2 hours. High impact inflation report hearing. So it's nothing crazy, but it's all there is today. Not a huge deal, even that. It's listed as high impact. The usual time, hour and 25 minutes from now, is medium impact, listed public sector net borrowing. So there may be a little extra activity on the pound, but nothing really crazy should go on there with that news. We'll keep that in mind over the next 2 hours. Pound stuff. Otherwise, quiet day. Okay. I want to look at the week. As I do in the beginning of the week, just to be aware of anything. Oh, there I go. Okay. All right, the rest of the week is normal. Let's see. It's not non-farm week. That's next week, right? I like the end of the months, typically. No interest rate decisions. Just checking. No, good regular week. Okay, good. I like it. Not too little, not too much news. And the charts are looking quite clean. Okay, to the charts. Okay, beginning of the week. Back out. Where are we? Who? What? So we have some strong dollar. We also have some strong Australian dollar. Very strong. All right, we'll get to all that. We've got some storylines. So, Euro dollar daily chart. Obviously, it's a downtrend. The momentum is pretty decent there, too. We've had consecutive closes lower, except for yesterday, which is Monday, which did reject a lower price. Where are we to the left here? Obviously, we're way past any fib to worry about there. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much that level. I'm not going to worry about marking it from here. I'll just mark it there. Really, there's nothing to the left that's standing out. Obviously, the big projection here, unless there's high volume strength, the projection is that we're doing that, right? Right. Okay. It's not rocket science. We'll get in there and see. There's a nice 14 EMA rejection in the daily, which strong trends do. So it looks like we're shorting unless volume is screaming buy, which it isn't. So that's that. So let's see what's it's a free fall right now until we see large buying, which is really going to show up as okay. Free fall is a exaggeration, which is going to show up as high volume on a 1 hour chart into lower prices, rejecting the lower prices, right? Most of us know this. Okay. So unless we see that high volume strength really on a 1 hour chart, smaller time frames can give those spikes, but it doesn't mean counter trend. It typically means a retracement, maybe. So let's look at our recent low, which is really exposed as a lack of much activity, profit taking, demand coming in, buying, whatever you want to call it. Not much of it happened. And to float down there on a Monday, which is just, less activity, shows how little buying there is for a trend that's already been trending for a while to get into new low ground. All right, so we're all convinced, right? Okay, good. Okay, so marking up areas to short. It's just a simple trend. There's not much to say about it. Let's get in it. We kind of, when things ignore a fib like this, it was like a break, test, fail. I'm not too worried about that fib zone. Once it disrespects, don't disrespect my fib. Once it disrespects those levels a little too much, I'll just mark it as support resistance. So where's the good prices to get into this? All right, a little higher up. It would be the first option. Of course, I like the fake breakout patterns. So I'm looking for weakness to get into this. Let me just check. Okay. Weakness to get into this good, healthy downtrend. Best place to find it would be here, but we'll mark up some other areas. But into a fake breakout pattern here is one of the main options there I would look for. Now I want to mark the fib area and get rid of the fib because I want to see if we're below 50 or what's going on there. But again, typically, as most you either overshoot and come back or you break it and you go. We broke it. We were up here for hours and hours, right? Like say 8 hours. And then now we're back below, which kind of just tells me it's ignoring that zone for whatever reason. Is there a whole number here? Yeah, it's 1.8. It's a whole number thing, whatever. So that's what we're working off of. Okay. But we have our box. Okay. And we'll get in there and look at some details about where sellers may be positioning or not, and how much the buying is, but we already know it's not much. It looks like selling came in yesterday off of the, that's got to be a fib retracement right there. Yeah. So you had confluence of fib, the previous support resistance, all this business. And did some buying come in? All right, well, we'll get in there. That's when the fib was relevant. That's okay. We know we're going short. We're just getting some details here. If it does go higher than this, it's really about testing these zones and seeing weakness into it and up to a fake break. There's not really another fib I would draw here. Obviously, I would draw this, but I don't expect we're going to get that high. But just to put it there. But really, we're not. Okay, so as usual, the London Open is bringing that activity. It looks like buying, obviously. High volume it's a low price and a nice, strong bullish reaction, which is good, right? We want higher prices to sell. We don't have to worry about it running off without us if we're starting to move up. Be patient, wait for the weakness. Here's a Euro Open, which started to see some selling right away. But some buying into it, so good, not so fast. Okay, let's go higher first. Just want to look at the left. One thing I noticed is that in this area where sellers really could have been active, they weren't, which tells you something. They may be waiting for higher prices. They may be concerned with some buying. But typically you get this high in a downtrend, you're going to get squashed, not stay up there. So even though it's off hours time of day, I don't like the floating up without hitting weakness. Typically, you'll still get a spike here and there, right? Like some just to kind of kick it back down. Sellers didn't really show up at all in their usual way in a downtrend. Looking at yesterday, it's very mixed. Buying. There's weakness. Okay. There's buying, right? Buying, selling, buying, selling. So the overall picture is certainly still bearish, but it's found some bit of equilibrium now, right? Where there's buying and selling. It's not just total lack of buying and just weakness all over the up moves and all that. So really the way to clean all that up is let's get higher up. Maybe it'll be up here. Who knows? But certainly I would not be selling below this level. And once we get above it, any sign of weakness, who knows? Maybe it'll do the fib retracement, right? A little more selling and a little less buying would bring it all together. So I'm not going to be aggressive and look to sell down here or anything like that, right? Okay. But generally in the bigger picture, to answer the question, where is smart money positioned from? Are they still in those positions? Are they holding? Are they looking to get out? Generally, they're short and they're holding. We just hit an area where demand increased a bit and the selling is being patient and maybe waiting for higher prices, which of course we'll find out if we can get there. That's a good way to sum it up. More coffee. It's good today. I don't know why. Some days like better than others, like dark chocolate. I think it's just the right balance of. Okay. GU. Daily chart. And we know how rangy that was. There was some range trades going on in there. Happily took a little of that. But we're out. And strong US dollar pushing this down too, like the euro. Now, the Australian dollar is stronger than the US dollar. So that's another story. I'm glad it woke up, right? It's been a few weeks or a month or so of just, I think it was AJ short. But besides that, the last few weeks I didn't have a trade on the Australian dollar pair because it was just kind of going with the wind. But it's alive now. We'll get to that. So strong US dollar also pushed this finally out of the range. Not so much weak pound. The pound is flying up there. Euro pounds, not much action there, right? Not much imbalance. So the pound isn't doing that much. It's just strong US dollar, but it's creating this downtrend. And this is going to be similar to the euro dollar, I would believe. I'm glad we're moving up first. Let's look back. See, again, yesterday has this no focused activity, right? It's just, okay, lower prices attract buyers. We see a fake breakout pattern, right? As we move up, we hit a little volume on selling. Lower prices bring buyers, higher prices bring. This is really like pretty active, but in balance. Here's the high of the day, which brought more selling. See the volume, fake break, and every dip, right, seems to attract some strength. So this is really mixed up in here. It's just supply and demand. Higher prices will give an imbalance of more sellers, less buyers. Lower prices will give more buyers, less sellers. We just got to move. So if this can move up, then we're going to look good here. But anyone who's saying, oh, okay, this thing is, in a strong trend, not that I listen to anybody, I'm in my complete own little bubble. But if anyone out there is saying, yeah, sell, this trend is great, it's just going to keep, right now the market is saying, there's a bit of balance. And buyers and sellers yesterday were kind of equal. So the best way to get in is move up and get the imbalance back. Maybe there'll be good news for the pound, whatever it is. So we understand the situation. This is very straightforward here. You know what I'm going to do? And we're already here, so could be soon. There's pound news. Yeah, that. Um, Again, there's a mix here yesterday, but the point is just so everybody understands. Most people know if you're trending down, which is anything here, it's a downtrend, and good momentum the last couple of days, right? So it would take high volume on a 1 hour chart to consider any sort of buying situation. So we're staying with the trend. So here's a fake break. I guess you could draw this fib here. I try to avoid random points, but that looks like the previous swing point very clearly. And yeah, that's all coming together. Clean chart. Now that we're out of this range. So this is the beginning of where I would look for weakness to come in to begin the setup to short this. So luckily we're here. So the price area, right, is I'm trying to grab that. It can go as high as the 618 overshoot. So anywhere in this area, I'm looking for a short setup, keeping in mind there's pound news coming up. It adds a bit of risk. You might want to do whatever you're comfortable with knowing that. But as we start to move into new high ground over this level, we're going to get information about sellers, right? It's new high ground over the resistance and it's into the fib zone, and we're about to hit 50 EMA. It's all about sellers and what they're going to do or not do here, so we'll find out. The thing is, of course, we have the volume increasing because of the time of day, but it's actually increasing over time, so that's up here hitting sellers. Let's see the 1 minute. Sellers, high price. We just hit a new high price. This is kind of stuff you can watch in real time, right? Because the aggressive downticks are only going to occur after upticks, and particularly into new high ground. So we'll keep an eye on that. But so far, that's a very good start. So anywhere in here, I'll look for the short setup, which of course starts with weakness on the 5 minute confirming, and we'll go from there. So the Australian dollar is alive. Wow. It's very strong. I don't follow fundamentals, but maybe there's a reason. Maybe there isn't. Who cares? But this was a setup we talked about Thursday. We'll get to that. But this is moving up against the U.S. dollar, which is not what the other two were able to do. So it stands out as very strong. U.S. dollar. U.S. dollar kicking the yen's butt. U.S. dollar kicking everybody's butt except Australia, which has a stronger currency rate. Okay. So it's particularly strong because usually the U.S. dollar and the yen drive things with their strength and often correlation. But this guy is on a rampage. So I'll see what we could do with that. From a daily point of view, completely different story. We actually have a higher low and a higher high. So there's no downtrend structure. It was a daily chart, right? There's no obviously momentum really in any direction except this breakout right now. But let's see. This is a real deal. I would like to find a way into this. Thank God for the mute button. That's all I got to say. Let's check out the upward action from that breakout and see how much selling is or is not coming in, reaccumulation stuff. So they were kind of in the range here Friday. We broke out yesterday. I want to try a different broker with my volume again here. It's nice 14 EMA entries off of there. Look at that stuff. High price, no high volume. Right, you guys know this stuff. It's just handing out scalp entries. and that was off the breakout into new high ground. Look at all this. This is like systematic markup stuff. This is markup, right? This is not let's accumulate into low prices. This is the second way. Push up the price, push up the price. Here's the selling, pretty weak, as in not much. And now we're active and into new high ground and holding. Okay. So I'm treating this like an uptrend, even though it is just barely a breakout of a range. Price is completely out of balance. So the first thing I would do is draw a fib, but that brings it down here, which I doubt it's going to get. And if it makes a new high, that would have to be adjusted anyway. But just to put it there, really don't think we're going to get that low. Let's be more realistic here. So there's a support, which could give a fake break. So it's all about the traditional entries, of course, are moving down and seeing strength, fake break, fib, previous resistance turns support. So we have some levels to look at strength coming in to buy. This one really stands out, this zone, for a sign of strength, fake break. If the buyers don't show up there, I'll be surprised, and they'll probably show up there. Confluence. So as long as we're not seeing too much weakness into high prices, which this time of day we get the volume increase, but let's get some perspective on that. It's not that high. So come down and see strength, and that's the traditional entry. Now, if it just starts to run off, look at yesterday. That's the scalp entries. And it could do that again. And the main thing is to not see the weakness before these rejections. Now, it is the AU, and these are small pips, these moves, but you're getting with a trend that's likely going to continue. Once you break into new highs, you could move your scalp stop loss to break even or whatever. But this is the kind of situation where I would not expect much of a retracement, right? The amount of weakness coming in kind of gives us an idea of how much. I wouldn't be surprised if it just moves up in a straight line for the next 8 hours. That's how out of balance this looks. So if it does just start to move up, there's those type of entries off the 14 EMA. If it moves down, I'll be looking for strength, particularly starting here. And you could do a smaller fib, but yeah, I'll do it just to do it. If that high changes, we'll have to redraw that, but all right. So again, traditional entry down and strength, but which in this case is entirely possible, if we just move up, there's the scalp entries. I don't like to chase, but in times like this, if we could see a high on medium volume, low volume, and come down and get just a clean bounce off of 14 EMA with a small stop, small risk, and get into this trend. We'll see how it goes. Checking in on GU. Okay, good. That's what we want. This could be the cleanest setup in the world. If we just hit this, we don't even have to go that high, but up to there. But we reject off weakness and give the setup. It's right to the point. Good probability, besides news maybe messing with the probability. Okay, so AJ, again, Australian dollars kicking butt. There it is. Just to point out, Thursday was a 618 overshoot setup. Just to point that out really quickly because it's there and it's clean. And it was projected. That's my drawing from Thursday. Right, 618 overshoot, nice pin, nice reaction. And look at the 14 EMA test. Ding. There's our pattern. And so technically the entry is there. And where's the stop loss? Just below this, right? Allowing for another fake break. So that actually keeps you in for all of that business. I mean, it got you in for that, depending on where you may have exited. So hopefully that was taken advantage of. I typically don't hold over the weekends. I did not. Oh well. Let's see. Let's just back out. So Australian dollar kicking butt. All right. Next stop is likely very soon into that fib zone. Yeah, we're almost there anyway. Let's be aware of that. Did I check that on AU? Where are we going? Okay, that has more room. No, okay. Even in the strongest of trends, you typically are going to, stop here and see some selling, hang out for a second. We don't just blow through those areas typically, so let's be aware of that. If you want to find out about sellers, they may be lurking there, so watch out for that. One hour 14 EMA rejection is the sign of a strong trend. And similar to AU, right? So we have that. We have this unlikely to get down there. Has to be updated if we make a new high. It's probably pointless to draw it, but let's just put it in fib. Previous, yeah, not even. Not worried about that. So we're likely getting to that fib very soon. Let me just compare. Yeah, the AJ is really previous resistance support and fib confluence. A little more aggressive with it. How's that high looking? Let's see the 1 minute, how much selling is positioning into the high prices. Not so much. Okay, so those are the places to look. That's a nice little confluence of fib and resistance support, and probably meet up with the 14 EMA maybe. And it's a little close to the high, a little aggressive, but in this type of trend, if it sets up clean, I'll consider that. This is, of course, the fake break or test of this zone, which is tiny, but that. Give me 1 second. All right. So we're good with AJ. Yeah. So it pulls down strength. If it moves up, Scalp entries, being aware of the 50 fib up there, which is likely to give it a bit of a rejection at least. Let's check on these real quick. GU. Okay, I'm clicking it. There it goes. Could go a bit higher. I think it might actually do this pattern because this last high didn't see that much selling. And this is really the last spot. If they don't show up here, it's likely to go up higher. We'll just wait. But one more pop up and see that volume, that weakness. Start off the setup. Glad we're moving up. So a lot of people are probably short, and let's go get their stop loss. Yes, it's a dirty game. EJ, not great, because the euro itself and the yen are not really the focus. It's really about the US dollar and the Australian dollar right now, driving things. So these guys, we're still in this range. We're in the middle of this range. This is my last choice that I would even touch this today. Wow, look at it go right now. Maybe it's going to figure itself out. But again, in this whole range, it's in the middle. And here, we're stuck in a range here. It's just not the focus right now. It's not where the action is. So, if I was going to do anything, since it is rangy and directionless, I really wouldn't do anything. But maybe, fake break there. That's it. Wow, look at it go. There it is, 618. All right. Now this thing's flying, but don't assume anything. See if the sellers show up here. This could be the high of the day on GU. So says the chart. See if we come down off some good volume. I'll see the 1 minute. This is all about the seller. Are they showing up here? Ooh, look at that. See, everybody who's short is getting nervous, getting their stop losses hit. And this is actually going to suck in some buyers. I mean, if you didn't know what you were doing. So I think it's time to come down now, right? Good. Okay, we got everybody all confused. Very likely the high of the day. I'm calling it. All right, maybe. We did everything. Pound yen. Again, the pound and the yen, not really the focus. The good opportunities are dollar pairs and Australian. Pound yen, euro yen, dollar yen. Yeah, dollar strong. Okay, so maybe that. But euro yen, pound yen is just not where the action is right now. All right, well, the US dollar strength is giving this simple uptrend. We were talking about buying this last week, which did play out. And we're still doing it. High price. We already know the US dollar is strong. No weakness on this trend. Here we are, 618. It's not my favorite pair, but it's valid to look for long entries. It may dip back there and give strength, or however you might choose to get in that. That's not my first choice, but you could break through highs off no supply and continue with 14 EMA rejections. I really would like the pound short. More volume, the better on this candle. And the quicker it rejects back down, the better. Euro dollar short. AU long, AJ, probably the best out of the two. Because the dollar still is strong, so we'd be buying against it, but the yen is kind of not doing that much. So AJ might be the better choice of those two. Really likely getting to that fib very quickly. Now, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, all that is, let's see. Oh, that's a mess. I don't like that. No, I don't like these guys. And NU is moving up. Interesting. Looks like we got some action here. Some decisive moves. Wow. So New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar kicking the US dollar's ass. But meanwhile, the US dollar is kicking the euro and pound's ass. But, oh, there's the volume on that. That's what we wanted. But it really needs to come down. Okay. Typically with these pairs here, I'd only trade if it's like a textbook setup, which it may actually be here. Obviously, we have some momentum to the upside without weakness. We're trending upward. Just to mark some areas. Hey now. Okay, well, interesting storylines. It's like who's kicking whose butt today is the question. It's like the playoffs. NBA playoffs. No. All right. So that's exactly what we wanted. Quickest way into this trade, right? Let's confirm the weakness by coming down as soon as possible. And testing, which 14 EMA is pretty far away. So we'll see what it uses to test. There's not much in here. Let's just confirm that weakness. Uh-oh. All right, it's the last call for sellers in this area. If they don't show up here, then the setup is canceled in this area, and I'd look for it higher up. But remember, with this trend, it needed to move up. It was a little too much buying and not enough selling yesterday, and we needed to go up. So it's really fine. Right, right. EU, yeah. I mean, as well, while it's moving up, see where it stops and go from there. But this high volume is not confirming strength unless we get squashed. I mean, these guys are moving together. So it's very aggressive buying. The sellers came in where you expect them to come in, but the buying is kind of running them over. That's why we have to confirm weakness, and it's not doing that. So let's see where it ends up. And there it goes off the 14 EMA. So quick. Yeah, I don't want to be too aggressive here, but these guys are likely going to this fib very soon. Maybe a top forms here without weakness and another 14 EMA just to scalp it to there at least. It may, of course, continue through, but I'm trying to find my way into this thing. I don't want to be too aggressive. The last call for sellers, pound. Let's see. Again, if they don't show up here, it's really fine, this upper, higher areas. It is back into the old range, but the low not showing much buying overall is, and a fib test setting up short would be fine with me. So it requires some patience, but this is really the best thing that could have happened, right? Is that we would move up on these two, as I said from the beginning. Or would you not consider that? No, the EU is fine. I would like these two, since they're correlating so much, I'm just kind of observing them when they're going to settle down and make sure they stop. Because, the requirement for the setup is weakness first to show up. If weakness doesn't show up, I'm not going to assume anything. Just wait and see if, when, where it does. But the sellers did show up. Just the buying is more aggressive. But look at that. The sellers are, yeah. For now, they held their ground. This is still a good beginning of a setup because with all that aggressive buying, they just squashed that again. Let's see the 1 minute. Yeah, they sold enough. There's the 618 overshoot, which typically is just going to bring it down. But then there was some more buying. You see the way the 5 minute closed. We got to get down there, though. Whoever's buying, I don't know. Enough already. Stop it. Kind of on the aggressive side. I really don't like to do these things, but just to point out, if this thing, because again, I'm just waiting where it dips or a scalp entry, but I'm also aware of this fib. If this breaks through here off no supply, or basically it's like the opposite of weakness, closes above a decreased volume, closing at or near the high of the candle, it's likely to be a real another leg up. But it's kind of chasey for me. But again, we know how strong the Australian dollar is, and it's likely getting to that fib. Depends what you're comfortable with. I'm okay with missing something because I didn't get very aggressive, so I didn't get to get in it. Looks good. 1 minute GU. Let's see that. Oh yeah, we were looking at that. Yeah, some volume there. Not doing that much. If I was a seller now, I would be like, all right. I would be cautious. Like, it looks like they did just what they had to do to create the 618 overshoot pattern. This is exactly 618. And they did what they had to do and no more. Let's see if it comes down. If not, they may just let it go higher. But it all comes together. This could be the high of the day, and we're just dealing with some very clean, obvious stuff. Check that fib again. Yeah. I do like the GU. Now we're really going to get no demand. Could happen. Just feels like there's demand. Even though the selling showed up, we got to get rid of the buyers now. Got to make sure they dried up. Your volume's a little different using Pepperstone. I want to go back to that. Yeah, let me do that. Volume spike at highest price in 1 minute. Yes. I don't know what happened when I tried to do it. I couldn't do it. Let me do it now here. I think I'll keep my drawings too. I did like Pepperstone. It's funny when you first compare, it's like, okay, they all look very similar. But then when you really get into the details, I don't really like FXCM. Pepperstone Demo 1. Yeah, pound yen and euro yen are just not the focus to give a clean setup. The better quality setups, which include background and everything else leading up to it, are on the other pairs. Anything that involves US dollar or Australian dollar is going to be cleaner. But if you're looking at something, take a look as soon as I get this back. I mean, if you have something that makes sense, then it makes sense. Okay, I got to do a new demo. Please work. Last time I did this, it didn't connect. Let's make it. Yeah. Okay. Phone number, New York City. Okay. Yes, please send me your newsletters. See, did that work? That went too fast. No, it didn't work. Use demo 2. Demo 2. All right. Thank you very much. Better. You gotta see that 1 minute. Oh, yeah. All right. Now that makes sense to me. That should be the high price of the day right there. Yay, Pepperstone. Wow. It's almost as if one entity was just like, no, 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 no. Because nobody really showed up here. Even here. And this is like, okay, last call for sellers. Yeah. Is there a... It's exactly 10 pips above 618. Exactly. Maybe that's the overshoot marker. Point of no return. I don't know. Either way, I like it. Okay, so what else? It's generally going to be obviously the same analysis with the Pepperstone volume, but details seem to be a little nicer, more representative of things. So you asked about the pound. What was that there? Let me see. Did you say you want between? Kind of looks like a fake out to short. Fake of what level? Fake of what level would be my question to you. Swing left. Oh, you mean the one we haven't gotten to yet? Or because I wouldn't go off that. I'd be going off that. Yesterday's high and all that. So you're saying maybe this? Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be going off of that. That level had just all, this is the previous resistance. So the fake break would have to be that. And it's also the high of the day. So it's pretty clear. That's our jigsaw puzzle piece there. That's 618. It's not a random thing. Which gives you this zone. Again, not that I would be doing that, but you see what's going on there now. I just messed up my fib. Let me check it again. Okay. You see, we're lined up. That's that, which is no longer 50 fib. It's now 618. Gotta love it when that happens. But we touched the zone. But anyway, I wouldn't trade this. But if I did, yeah, I guess a fake break of that, I guess. Yeah, it is 618. I don't know. Have fun with it. Again, the main thing is there are certain things I call it what the market knows and doesn't know, or where the action is or where it isn't, what they're literally talking about right now, what they're not, and what's likely to move the most today and likely to have the cleanest action, all that, which is, again, US dollar and Australian dollar. If you take those two out, there's a lot less attention being paid to whatever else you may have in there. That's just what they're doing today. For now, that's what I'm going with. It's an interesting mix. It's kind of like I look at it like a competition, and this week has or like a race. And this week has some interesting changes in what's strong, what's weak, what's driving things. So with the pound, we can hang around here. The main thing is if we go higher and we don't see sellers, we accept these higher prices, set up over. But these sellers, right, they're really just here to hold their ground. They don't need to do anything right now. Right. The next thing they want to do is test for buyers and all that. And the 14 EMA is much closer and going to be easier now to just do the test there. But sellers will be here holding their ground if they need to in order to keep the setup alive. If not, then of course it's canceled. But that's all they need to do is hold this. So right now, not much has to happen. We can get down and test. This is all we have to work off. Here is a 14 EMA, which is perfectly fine. And see if there's demand and look for the entry off of that. Automatic support, etc. etc. Feels like this week is going to be good. This is the euro dollar chart. It's nice. This year has been good. The last 3 weeks was less trades, little indecisive stuff, and then it looks like it's coming back now to maybe a good run, hopefully to the summertime. I'm likely to take a break in July or August, but hopefully a good run till then. Cryptos. Again, better for day trading. Still. Let me go back here. Okay. Daily chart. Now, the last opportunity we talked about, some of you are trading this, some of you are not. It's good for learning either way. This is what we had. Remember that? Which didn't show that much strength, but there they are. Big break. So that was a nice run up from what? 79 to 86, realistically in this area after the fake break entries. And let's see what we have going forward. Wait, how do I remove drying tools? Okay. Well, my fib's gone now. Once you go MT4, you never go back. Okay. And this doesn't snap to price, so I have to actually like zoom in and check it. I guess I'll do that one. My instinct says that's the beginning of the trend. Put it there. This guy, I can't see because the number's in the way. Okay. Oh, I didn't want that. Just stop it. All right. It was all that just to put the fib back. Cool. And this is the one I actually pay for. It's MT4 is free. Okay. I like that green all over the screen when I change time frames. It's pretty. Another fib. Brace yourself. Okay, it looks like we got a couple of fibs. The 50 is white. The 618 is gold. Get it? Okay. So I'm just pointing out how the 250 fibs are overlapping here. The fib of the last move and the fib of the entire move are both 50 fib, pretty much the same price. And we just bounced off of that. Now, if we have a fake break here, we're likely doing it. Like I say with these, right? I say it every time. I'll say it again. Just the nature of it. What's different? How do I treat this differently? Is as far as confirming entries is to see if I'm looking to buy off strength, I'm in a down move, to see it more than once. Because you'll see, again, as I point out, trending moves. Like this move has buying all into it. It's factual. It happened. These lower prices attracted buying, and they're in those trades and all that. But you see how it once, and then we go lower. We go lower and lower. So if you bought it here off of that strength, not too good, right? Then at this point, the structure changed and made a higher high. Okay, right? It has to sort of convince you. It can't just do it one time. It's really not enough. Fake break patterns, change in structure. This was a double bottom off of this low. Again, down moves here, strength. Then we went lower, right? So in this area, if we could see multiple signs of strength and not see lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, right? It's just strength coming in. Want to see if we get strength once, twice, and get out of there, right? Then the projection to do that and try to break out, maybe do a fake breakout or a successful breakout. The chance of trying to do that is much better if we can get that multiple stuff in here. And then at this point. So ideally it's strength, maybe some more strength, and then a higher high. And get above the EMAs are also nice. This is a 1 hour, so it's not anything crazy to get up there. Of course, the smaller time frames give more detail, but generally The 1 hour could show it. There's the buying into the down move, buying at the 50 fib. But I'm basically getting like one trade a week on this. I'm not really overly focused on it. I'm just really patient, wait for those double confirmations. And again, I might just get this week, and then maybe that'll be it. Maybe another one. This may not set up till tomorrow, whatever it is. So here we're coming down off 14. We're likely to do that. Just because there's strength doesn't mean we're stopping. So let's make sure and then get above that. And they're all pretty much, well, they're similar, correlated. This guy, again, when I start to see ignoring a fib too much, it's not just a 618 overshoot, it's hanging out below 618. I'll just call it a support. But again, there's strength. Here's some weakness. Here's really not much strength, right? We want to see a couple of signs of strength and start to move up off of that. And then we're likely getting to this high. See, so it's a little different. Just what I learned from the behavior of this thing. It seems like, which makes sense, and we kind of know people trade this like this. People are willing to buy just because it's low. Price goes down, they buy. It could be an automatic thing. There's probably a lot of people that don't focus on trading that often, and price goes down on these, and they just start buying it up. It's sort of a grid almost approach or whatever. And it doesn't necessarily turn around the price. Obviously, forex traders, they're buying, they want it to go up that day. This is, a different approach. I think the chart really shows it. Again, these down moves always get bought into, which tells me it's viable. This is not going to crash to zero or any whatever people may say. The buyers are all over it in the smart money type of way, but it's a more of a cost averaging, getting it over time, buy low, sell high, almost more swing trading approach, right? More swing trading approach. I think the charts reflect the behavior. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm like getting all into this talk here. What's going on? GU, sellers holding that ground. All right. There's a high price on selling. They better be all over it if it even can get up there. Hopefully not. Okay. So GU still seeing what it needs to, but we got to come down and test. Let's review here before I go. EU possible fake break. So that kind of lined up with GU here for an entry, possibly forming. We had this level marked up. It's not random. There's the volume. And we come down and confirm weakness. And it's just like GU now. They're lined up. Sellers need to show up here and offer the setup and do their deal. If they don't, it's canceled, and we wait for higher prices, which would be there, or I didn't think it would get there, but I did say from the beginning it's got to move up to find sellers. Give good, so maybe it will get to the fib. After every seller gets kicked out for a loss and people start buying, then we can come down. Yes. Can't be too obvious now, can we? This is not giving me confidence to scalp it, right? As most of you know, it's showing weakness. So if you see high prices accepted on some lower volume, that's when the 14 EMA rejections are a good way to get in to a move that you expect to continue. This is 50-50, right? Could come down, could continue. It's too much selling right there. So if that volume was low like these other guys, and we rejected off the 14, then it's likely going for another leg up. But that I don't mess with. Obviously, some weakness for the moment. Okay, there. Which is good because it's very bullish and we can get a traditional sign of strength on a retracement here, right? Yeah, Australian dollar situation. Like I say, I'd rather not chase. 50 fib is lurking. So maybe we come down off of this weakness now and get our strength. Really textbook. AJ would be nice. Again, EJ, pound yen, that's not where the action is. Not going to be the highest probability. But like I say, if something makes sense to you and you're reading things correctly, do what you're comfortable with. I'm not touching those. UJ, still in a decent uptrend. So maybe it'll come down and show strength, do a fake break or something. All right. The main things I'm looking for, though, is the selling of the euro dollar or pound dollar. Okay, we can watch this right here, right? What did I say here? Sell has got to be here. Squash it. If the buyers win this time and push it up into new ground, it's likely time to back off and wait for higher prices. But if that's the high, and we come down, what do we have? Oh, what's that pattern? Such a rare thing to see. Oh yeah, fake breakout. Really now or never though, right? If this 5-minute closes up here on decreased volume, I'm not trusting this anymore. So let's just come down and see if the entry forms or wait for higher prices. Question. Wouldn't you consider that very high volume on AJ 1 hour? Let's see. Very high? Well, in a strong trend like this, right, is it climactic, right? Get perspective on it, right? Nah. I like it because it actually suggests that we're going to get some kind of retracement. We don't have to worry about chasing it, right? That kind of puts it in perspective, right? That's not a counter trend amount of volume. So a bit of weakness is good. Bring it back. Okay, guys, any other questions? We know what we're looking for. AJ will be textbook. It's more likely to come down now than just run off because of that bit of weakness. GU, come down, look for the entry. If that's going to be the high, no problem. EU, likely to correlate. AU not bad as well. No questions? Okay, good, guys. Well, we know what we're looking for. I like the environment right now. Feels alive and active. Should be a good week. Patience, patience. It's better for the trend to be retracing and you having to sit there and wait than for the trend to be running off without us, right? If you had to pick one of the two. So we're good. All right, guys. Have a good one. Again, I think there's a new member today, so just a reminder, the 10 p.m. sessions are not happening at the moment because there were very few people attending. Everybody's just attending this session at this time. And it was kind of redundant, so we're not doing that. The site is being updated this week to not offer that. That's it. You'll get the recording of the session here, typically within an hour. Okay. Good luck. See you tomorrow.